1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Farzana Khan. First, the headlines. Prime Minister has thanked China for offering to step up cooperation for restoration of ecosystem to combat environment challenges. Pakistan, reaffirming its firm resolve to combat climate crisis, has urged the international community to translate commitments on environmental degradation into tangible actions. A polio campaign of varied duration will begin in 124 districts of the country from tomorrow. The United Nations General Assembly, at special session against corruption, has adopted a sweeping declaration to help countries to implement measures to combat bribery. APHC says the permission to Hindu Yatris and the influx of non-local labourers to Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir is a well-thought-out conspiracy to throw the people into a deep gorge of coronavirus pandemic. Sikhs in India and across the world are observing the 37th anniversary of the Operation Blue Star with a renewed pledge to continue their struggle for Khalistan through thick and thin. In Afghanistan, at least 11 civilians were killed when a roadside bomb struck a bus in Badghis province. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has thanked China for offering support to step up cooperation in restoration of ecosystem to combat environmental challenges. In a tweet, he thanked President Xi Jinping for his strong message on World Environment Day 2021, hosted by Pakistan, reflecting Islamabad's commitment to counter environment degradation. He also lauded the Chinese leadership for effectively combating climate change and biodiversity loss. Prime Minister Imran Khan has said that countries get bankrupted and indebted when the head of state or government and his ministers become corrupt. He said this in a tweet while attaching a link regarding the U.S. presidential actions titled Memorandum on Establishing the Fight Against Corruption as a Core United States National Security Interest. Imran Khan also mentioned that corruption of low-level officials creates problems for citizens, whereas the corruption of the higher levels of the hierarchy devastates the entire economy. A polio campaign of varied duration will begin in 124 districts of the country from tomorrow. During the drive, polio teams will administer vaccine drops to over 33 million children under 5 years of age to protect them from polio disease. The health department of all the provinces have appealed the parents to get their children vaccinated against polio virus. Pakistan has reaffirmed its commitment to play its due role in combating climate crisis, protecting biological diversity and restoring ecosystem. In a statement today, Foreign Office spokesperson Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry said hosting of World Environment Day 2021 in Islamabad is an acknowledgement of Pakistan's swift transition towards a clean and green Pakistan. He said Pakistan is already in the midst of one of the world's most ambitious efforts to expand and restore its forests, having already planted 1 billion trees as part of its 10 billion tree tsunami project. The spokesperson said it is high time for the international community to translate political commitments on combating climate change and environmental degradation into tangible actions. He said that for developing countries like Pakistan, this would not be possible without the provision of sufficient support by developed partners in the form of means of implementation, green finance, technology transfer, and capacity building. Minister for Planning and Development Asad Umar has said the federal government of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf believes in the service of entire country without any discrimination. Talking to media persons in Karachi today, he said Imran Khan is the Prime Minister of the entire country and he does not believe in negative politics. The Planning Minister said the Prime Minister has announced 2 mega development projects for Sindh, allocating 32% more amount for the province. Asad Umar said the amount has been allocated for Green Line bus transport system, K4 water project, drainage in Karachi, universities of Sindh, small dams and many other projects. Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting Farooq Habib says the PTI government is ensuring good governance in the country to bring positive change in the lives of common people. Talking to media persons in Faisalabad today, he said the government has initiated several welfare projects for underdeveloped people, including health cards, SR's program, shelter homes, and housing schemes. He said the opposition parties should play a constructive role towards addressing the public issues and matters of national interest. Minister for Maritime Affairs Ali Haider Zaidi says the federal government is working on various developmental projects in Karachi and Sindh. Talking to media persons after a visit to Karachi Port Trust, he said work on ferry terminal is underway with fast pace. He announced that open tenders will be issued to set up a technology city on the KPT property. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. The first ever United Nations General Assembly special session against corruption has concluded after having adopted a sweeping political declaration to help countries tackle bribery, money laundering, abuse of power, and a raft of related crimes. The landmark political declaration, titled Our Common Commitment to Effectively Addressing Challenges and Implementing Measures to Prevent and Combat Corruption and Strengthen International Cooperation, was passed unanimously. Pakistan was represented by a Special Representative to the UN, Munir Akram, and claims that National Accountability Bureau Justice, retired Javed Iqbal, also addressed the session. Member states expressed concern about the serious threats posed by corruption to the stability and security of the institutions, values of democracy and sustainable development, and the rule of law. They recognize the negative impact of corruption can also exacerbate poverty and inequality. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Party Hurriyat Conference leader Bashir Ahmad Bhatt, in a statement in Srinagar, has termed the permission to Hindu Yatris and the influx of non-local labourers to the territory as a well-thought-out conspiracy to throw the people of Kashmir into a deep gorge of coronavirus pandemic. He appealed the World Health Organizations to come to the rescue of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir people trapped in coronavirus pandemic, saying that the fascist Indian regime is deliberately endangering the lives of the people of Kashmir by allowing the Yatris to visit Kashmir. Sikhs in India and across the world are observing the 37th anniversary of the Operation Blue Star with renewed pledge that they would continue their struggle for Khalistan through thick and thin. In this connection, pro-Khalistani group Dal Khalsa held a protest march at Amritsar's Golden Temple to mark the anniversary today. Pro-Khalistan supporters brandishing swords, raising freedom slogans and carrying placards of Jarnail Singh Bhindranwale demanded Khalistan, a separate homeland for Sikhs. In his address, Sikh preacher Jatinder Gyani Harpreet Singh lashed out at the Indian Army, saying that they had done injustice to the Sikh community. Meanwhile, in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Party Hurriyat Conference, while expressing solidarity with the Sikh community on this occasion, said the Indian Army's Operation Blue Star was an official beginning of a systematic purge of the Sikh community in India. In India, a group of Hindu extremists has lynched another Muslim and injured 4 others in Uttar Pradesh's Mathura district. According to Indian media, the cow vigilante attacked the victims, alleging that they were smuggling cows. Hindustan Times said the 4 companions of the deceased have been referred to the district hospital for treatment. In Afghanistan, at least 11 civilians, including 4 women and 3 children, were killed when a roadside bomb struck a bus in the western province of Badghis. No group has claimed responsibility for the blast, but Badghis Governor Hisamuddin Shams accused the Taliban of planting the bomb. Meanwhile, Taliban leaders and UN officials met in Qatar to discuss the Afghan peace process, security for diplomats, and people working for humanitarian agencies in Afghanistan. The Saudi-led coalition has said it intercepted and destroyed an armed drone launched by Houthis towards the Saudi city of Hamis Moshed today. Meanwhile, Iraqi military also said in a statement that air defenses at Iraq's Ain al-Assad air base that hosts the U.S. forces intercepted and shot down 2 drones. Weather. Mainly hot and dry weather is likely to prevail over most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, dust, thunderstorms, and rain is expected at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, northeast Balochistan, Kashmir, and its adjoining hilly areas. And with that, we come to the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.